Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So we're waiting for Miss Dana from Triple C and Joe Show. Hopefully she will be with us within the next couple of minutes. We'll find out. Let's see if Dana pops in. All fingers crossed for plan A. Otherwise, we'll just have to pop along to plan C instead. We'll soon find out. Welcome in. Welcome in. Miss Jumping Frog. The ninja is here. Okay, I think another 4 minutes. All fingers crossed. Miss Dana arrives. Fingers crossed, everybody, fingers crossed. You're going to be lucky. Nobody's going to see my mug today because I'm not the one in the spotlight. Just, Awesome. Touched base with Franklin. Good, good. Excuse me, 3 minutes before we do plan C. I'd love to do a little ticky-tocky music soundy thing, but I'm rubbish. Rubbish. Okay, plan C is here. Prepared or not, plan C is here. I see you down there. Just bear with it. 2 minutes. We'll give her 2 extra minutes. Come on, Dana. Come on. Come on, girl. Welcome in, Jennifer. Come on, Dana. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. I have no idea why, Coco. No idea why. I kind of wish for plan Z, really, which is everybody goes home and we all get under the duvet. Done. Okay, 1 more minute for Miss Dana. And we'll get this party started. Either way. Either or, this will happen, people. This will happen. Just keep staring at candles right now. I think that's plan C. Staring at candles. Be very happy with that. Oh, there's Joe. She come in. They knocked the internet out. Dang. Oh, let's hope that it will hold. All fingers crossed. Thank you for letting us know, Joe. Yes, plan C. Yes. Miss Priscilla, Just came to say a quick hello. I have some other things to catch up on. Oh, darn you. I'm the only thing that you should be caught up on. That's fine. We're just waiting for Miss Dana. Joe, give it a good kick. Plan C, I think it's safe to remove the diaper, I think. Yeah, don't go kicking it too hard. I love that Plan C is breathing so hard and trying to muster all their strength, determined not to be on the screen. Plan B is me talking to a blank screen. I'll just reel off the questions and be like, oh, so that's the answer. Oh, okay. Next question. It'll be the best interview ever. Might actually need my little glasses though for this, because seeing the black on the white screen is pretty darn hard. It's a difficult thing. Shall we do like a little cheerleading thing to welcome Dana in? Give us a D, give us an A, give us an N and A. Dana. No, that's just rubbish. Shut up, please, huh? Sorry, I'm trying to fill the dead air. Exactly. Or should it be, come, Dana, come. Come, Dana, come. Oh, no, that could be, no. La, 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 la. I'll edit that bit out. Go on, Dana. Go on, girl. I do appreciate you letting us know, Joe. Thank you. I think maybe Plan C, you may be eligible to step down, quite possibly. Welcome in, Julie. We're just waiting for a wonderful spotlight interviewee. And then we can begin our pilot interview, which I'm probably way more nervous than the person that I'm going to be interviewing, and I'm not the one on camera. You really wouldn't want me on camera today. You can have me on camera on Fridays. That's more than enough. Come on, Dave. Oh. Yes. Don't make me type. I'm too lazy. Come on, Dana. Come on, girl. Come on. I'm so sorry, guys. Joe has let us know that their internet decided to have a fart attack before Dana got in here. So we're just waiting for her to pop in as soon as the router has sorted itself out. Okay, bear with me, Dana. I now know you're here. Let's get this going. Okay, so welcome, curious crafters, to the 1 hour Saturday Spotlight. For the next 2 weeks, we will be highlighting Triple C and Joe Show. Any questions seen in the chat will be asked at the end or next Saturday. So please don't think you're being ignored. It's all being noted. When Dana's all sorted, I ask you, Miss Dana, to please try and ignore all the chat. Try. Just be you. Relax a little bit, do your crochet, do whatever you need to do, just and when you're ready, give me a thumbs up and we will get this hour started. Good girl. Ta-da!
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Lady Bird Loves. Guys, if you don't know Lady Bird Loves, I hope you got her up and enjoying her. I thank you for having me up here, Lady Bird. It has been a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry about the internet issue. My baby boy knocked it out of the plug, out of the outlets, and it took a little bit of time to get it back started up again. But we are here. You're
here, and that's what counts. So thank you very, very much for popping in.
Yes, no problem. So
you will have. You've got internet. Just keep it there. You have 1 hour. I'm going to try and ask as many questions as I can. You answer them how you wish to. And obviously, if there's anything that you are uncomfortable with, fingers crossed there aren't, just go pass and I'll go on to the next one. Okay?
All right, sounds good to me.
Look at her fingers going. My gosh, she's on a race. Okay. So the hour stopwatch starts now. Dana, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel?
What inspired me was seeing fellow crafters sharing their yarny goodness so far as hauls, finished objects, and different stitches. I was really inspired because I was watching them for years. I'd watched so many people who taught me the way and of how it was to, get a video out there, to edit it, and to just like really go consistently, weekly, daily. Some people even going multiple times a day. So I was inspired by other yarny, enthusiasts and all that good stuff. Everybody that I saw was inspired. There were so many people who were just, pioneers of this that I consider pioneers. So definitely fellow yarnies were really my inspiration.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, what was your very first video about?
My very first video was basically kind of like an introduction, but it was more of a finished object ordeal. It was things that I just got finished with. I'm not sure exactly what they were, what each piece was, but I did have a nice amount of items that I started off with. And it was just basically, I finished off my items, and it was kind of like a get to know me at the same time. It was really, really exciting. I kind of just had all my family come in and show up, and it was really good. But that's what it was. It was a finished object video.
Now, for anybody that has never seen you, for anybody that is literally stumbling across you for the very, very first time, can you describe what your channel is about to them?
Okay, so when you come over to the Triple C and Joe show, there's a lot of elements there. So you could get overwhelmed because I'm just that person. I've always been that person who loves everything. I've never been able to sit in one space. For a while, I used to think it was a curse because there's times where my mind is overthinking. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about this. I can't sit still. And I know I have a lot of people out here who feel the same exact way, whose minds are always going crazy. And for many of us, we figured out how to deal with it by grabbing paper and pen. And so in order for us not to lose every single thought or idea that comes our way, we decided to start taking it to paper and pen, getting those ideas down. So that way, if they do try to disappear, we'll go back to that paper and pen and pick it up. So what happened was I put that all into a channel. What I started off with on the Triple C and Joe show, every video was yarny. Every video dealt with my crafts and my finished objects, my hauls, anything that I had going on. But then what happened was I began to do live streams. And when you're a YouTuber, there's a lot of different elements, and I won't go into more because I don't know what every question Lady Bird has for me. But there's a lot of different things in order to get to certain places. And so I had added several elements. And so when you come over there, you'll see our crochet aspect, and you'll see a lot of videos that have a lot of yarny themes to them. But you will also see live streams, and each live stream I devote into a support system. It's a support system. It's a family. And so it didn't start off that way. I will be honest. But the more you meet people, the more you talk to people, the more people come and spend their time with you, a family just became what we are. And so I've always been a person that welcomes people in. I've always been that person that, if you're having a down day, to find a way to cheer you up. So that's what you're going to find there. You're going to find your yarn, you're going to find your crafts, but you're also going to find family. So yes, that's what you'll find at the Triple C and Joe Show.
That's lovely. Thank you, Dana. That gave me a little warm smile. Thank you. What is your very favourite thing to make? One thing.
I'm gonna go with beanies, caps.
Really?
Hats. Yes, that's one of my very favorite things. One of my favorite things to make.
You've really surprised me. I was so expecting you to say ponchos. You disappointed me, Dana.
Yeah, I love me a good old beanie.
Okay, so with your craft, with your crochet, do you sell your items?
Yes. I sell my items. That's where I started off at first. YouTube is just something second. I just kind of like wanted to play around with the idea, or maybe I should say third. I kind of started off just with my business. I've been having a crochet online business for almost 7 years now. And so it all started off with just a little old Facebook like page. My husband started, and he said, "I want to get your pictures out there. I want you people to see what you're making." I'm like, "Okay, no one's going to like this, but all right, have fun." And the minute he posted it, people started just gravitating toward everything I made. And they even started pulling me out of things. "Oh, can you make this? Can you make that?" And I'm just like, yeah. And so it actually just got me out of my comfort zone. And now I've just been flourishing, and I'm grateful to be flourishing because I've had the chances to work with lots of different people and make lots of things I never knew I would. But yeah, I sell my items, and I do not have a website right now as of yet. What I do is I sell things through my social media, where I send out an invoice for those who are interested, and then you can just pay through PayPal. A very secure method where you'll have the insurance on your objects or the things that you're purchasing. So it makes it a lot easier. I will be investing into a website. I just haven't got it yet, but I will be doing that as well for those who are more comfortable with a website. But yes, anything that I have is yours if you want it.
Everything. Would you be okay if we put your social media details in the description below for people to come and have a nosy?
Yes, you are always welcome to have anything of mine social media wise, guys. No problem. And also, if you're watching the replay, guys, please check out Triple C and Joe Show, where I have all my information in the About tab or description boxes of most of my edited videos.
Well, that stopped me doing one question. So the good thing is that you sell your craft, you're happy, you're getting the confidence with it, but how do you go about pricing each item?
I do have a manager that helps me with that because I have sold myself short several times. So I think the key is if you don't have a manager, I would say research. Researching is a really good way to price your items because you never want to just jump in and say a price, because sometimes we can get excited that someone is interested in our work and we throw ourselves in there with a price that we had no idea how much yarn it was going to take, how many days it was going to take, all that good stuff. And so I would definitely say research, but I do have a manager who does that research for me. So they take a lot of that work out of there for me, where I don't have to be like researching, looking for this, and trying to stay in the market, because I don't want to lowball myself or shortchange myself. Like I said, I've done that before. I've done that where I felt really remorseful for, like regretful making certain projects because these projects were worth over $100 and I'm charging 30 and 40. And so, yes, definitely researching, and we're having someone do that research for you. And then you can always double check if you're comfortable with that. Yeah, that's it. And like I said, also, even when it comes to like certain people, sometimes we may have people who've done things for us where it could be someone closer to family or someone who's, maybe dealing with certain things where you might want to just like, I'll give you a discount, or I may give you a freebie, whatever else. But for the most part, researching is the best way to know how to get those right prices out there. I think that's the best way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your favorite medium or material to work with?
Are you talking about so far as my yarn, right? Are you saying that?
Well, if we're going to go down the yarn route, then I guess you can be as specific as you like. You can turn around and say Lion Brand 3-weight.
Okay.
Roving, whatever you like. What's your favorite thing to get in your hands and to work along with?
I really don't. I don't know. I'm still in that area where I'm looking for my favorite. I don't think I have a favorite yet, just because I'm still just playing around with it. I'm still in the candy store sampling everything, and so I don't think I have a favorite yet. I know a lot of people always ask me like, "What's your favorite?" I don't have one yet, just quite yet, because there's so many things out there. I do like a worsted weight if I can, 8 ply, 10 ply. I do like that size around because I know I can get around to where I can make lots of things. I know I can get me a blanket out of it. I can get a beanie out of it. I know I can guarantee grab me a 5 millimeter or 5.5 millimeter, or even a 6 millimeter, and I can grab something and make something up real quick. But so far so good. I don't know what I would say. What's my favorite? I wish I could say. I guess it just depends on what I'm making. Like when I make, a lot of times you see me making ponchos, and some of you haven't saw my ponchos. But I do make a lot of ponchos, and I've used lots of yarn. But I do adore lion brand Shawn a ball for those ponchos. And I remember the first time I met Lady Bird, when we both had that in common. If we use a certain color of lion brand Shawn a ball, I was like, what? But I think for my ponchos or shawls, I do really like that. Um, but I guess it just depends on what I'm making. I'm still, I will have to come back to that. Well, maybe one of these
Feeling
days I
your
have an
way
answer
round
for
at
it.
the moment.
Yeah, well, I hope I have an answer for that one.
That's fine. Um, with regard to your craft, what would you say is your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is the fact that I love a challenge. I was talking to one of my other awesome friends and family members a couple of nights ago, and she was just letting me know she loves a challenge, and I was like, "That's me, that's me." You don't have to give me the simplest thing. Give me something rough, and I think the fact that one of the first challenges I've ever done was create something, a graph, and where there was no instructions. It was just as me in the dark. I was in the dark, and for a minute when I had to create this graph and actual pattern for it, and actually create the piece for it, I was really like super scared. I was super like worryful, doubtful, and I was like, I can't do this. Like there was a time in my life where I was like, oh no, I can't do this, and I had waited around. I waited around for someone to do the work for me, and no one could do the work for me. No one was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. I can't. Sorry, that's gonna be a lot of work. And I was like, really, it's gonna be a lot of work. I didn't know the reason why they were turning me down was because all the work that was gonna be involved for this particular piece. And so when I actually had to take the time to write this graph, grabbed all the kids' graphing homework paper, I grabbed it all up and I sat down and made a big huge graph all over the floor, sprawled all the way out, counting, taping pieces together. After I got done, I was like, wow, my strength is going to be taking on a challenge and not being scared of it, not backing away from a challenge. And so within 2 weeks, I finished up something that would take many people 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
And it was days on, days in and days out. So when I see people that are sitting up late nights working and to get to a goal, I'm like, you got this, because I know what it's like to have those times where you're like, I can do it, and then you kind of talk yourself out of it, and oh, I got it, and then it's like, oh no, I'm done. I understand those days, so taking on the challenge is definitely gonna be my strength, because I've been through so many different things. So a challenge, when I see challenges come my way, it's like I got this. Come on, I can't be defeated. So
There's that
yes,
little bit of an adrenaline buzz when one
yeah,
comes along. You're like, yes, I've got this.
yes,
Well
exactly.
done. Well done. So if that's your strength, what's your weakness?
My weakness, I would say, is um not being able to say no all the time. My weakness is not always being able to say no. And I it's just hard for me to say no, just because I want to be there for everybody. I want to do everything, but at the same time, I guess it's really impossible to be everywhere at the same time. I guess it is, and I'm kind of learning that a little bit, even though I don't want to learn it. Sometimes you learn certain things, you're like, oh, I thought anything was possible. I think my weakness is just not being able to always say no. I mean, that's always been able to say yes to everybody or yes to everything, even if it's testing a pattern. I want to test every pattern. There's a time where I wanted to test this particular pattern, but I did have craft shows lined up. I had deadlines for I sell things in a gallery, so I had deadlines for that, and I was like, I want to test this pattern, and I had to actually back away. That was the only time I ever had to back away, but the designer was very understandable. But I was just like, oh my goodness, piling too many things on my plate at once. So piling things on my plate, and just because due to the fact that I can't say no, I think that's probably like my own weaknesses. I'm getting a lot better with that though, because I'm like basically scheduling things out now. It's like, okay, what can I do? What can I not do? But I think that's probably one of my weaknesses. It's like, yep, I got you. Yep, can you do that? Yeah, I'll be there. Can you do that? Yep, uh-huh. And then it's like, oh yeah, you schedule 80 things on today. I really don't know. There's only 24 hours. I don't know how you're gonna do that. But unless you got cloned, and I don't think you got that yet.
Not yet, not yet. There may be in the future, Dana, but not yet.
Yeah.
But don't worry. I mean, at the end of the day, a weakness is, at least you've admitted to one, which is good. You know it's there, and you're definitely not alone. I know a fair few people that just can't say no because they want to be helpful. They don't want to let someone down. So don't worry, you ain't alone, girl. Now, your channel name, Triple C and Joe Show. What inspired that name? How did you come up with it?
Well, the Triple C is my business name. For those who don't know, my original name for my channel was called Creatively Created Crochet. Same name as my Instagram, same name as my Facebook. But for a long time, I was doing so much work to get to every goal. And many of you know, if you're on YouTube all the time, you have children, you have a spouse, um, something's going to be missing, something's going to be lacking. And you're one of these days, your kids are going to say, "Hey, I need some time." One of these days, your husband's going to say, "What's going on?" You're sitting on there all day long. If you do have that bond, and I do have that bond with my husband. That's one thing. Me and my husband were friends from day one. And so when it came to Creatively Created Crochet, people were like, "Oh, that's a tongue twister. How do you even say that name?" I was getting people like, "Oh my goodness, that name's horrible. Like I cannot get that out in one sitting." And so many people was like, "You know what? We're calling you Triple C. That's your name." And I was like, "I'm
It
Triple
works.
C." And some people was like, "Hey, your name's Dana, but your name's Triple C." That's my business name. So many people are like, "Who is Triple C?" My business name is Triple C. And so I guess I am my business because I just, everything that comes out of me is me. So I'm Triple C as well. So I don't have like alter egos or anything, but that's just my business name. Guys are like, "Oh, she's Triple C today and tomorrow she's Dana." No, okay. That's not what I mean. My business name is Triple C, guys. And when Joe came into the picture, it was a late night. We were crafting and we were playing some games and we are working on getting to our next goal for the channel. And everybody was like, "Who's that guy that's making the jokes in the background? Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my husband." It's like, "Oh, get him on the camera." I'm just like, "No." No, he's mine. But everybody was like, "Let's get him on the camera. I want to see who he is. I want to hear those jokes. I want to see who is the man behind you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna steal the show." No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously. No, seriously. It was really awesome. But Triple C came into to effect, and I didn't want to be Creatively Created Crochet and Joe, so I was like, you know what, let's do Triple C and Joe. Let's do this. And that's when the late night streaming began, and we took it from crafting, and we just have it so many different things: the crafting, the laughs, the games, the jokes, and most of all, supporting people, helping people get to goals and things like that. And I really enjoy it because a lot of people have told me like, "Oh, guys, the touch, the added touch is really awesome," and that's just how it all began. The Triple C and Joe, Creatively Created Crochet and Joe, guys. So I'm loving it, and so far so good.
And of course, for just pointing out the obvious, of course, Joe is Dana's husband, hence
Yes,
the name in the title. Just for anybody that wasn't quite cutting on, although,
yes.
I'm just
My
stating the
husband,
obvious.
my husband of 8 years, and I've been with him for almost 17 years now, and so yeah, almost half my life. And I'm just, everybody can't work. Everybody can't work with their husbands, and so a lot of people ask me, how do we work together all the time? How do how are we together all the time? And I think it's just because of the friendship. It's not just about the marriage, but our friendship. We know each other so much, So it's just like we know each other. We know how to keep each other covered. So that's a big thing when you have somebody that's an assistant, because a lot of times you can't mix business with pleasure. And so when you got somebody that you can mix that with, and somebody who's going to protect you, you don't have to worry about them, hurting you or not, having your best interest or at heart. So I'm loving that. I do love having him with me because it makes things work so much better. It really does.
And of course, you've got that boulder of support.
Yes.
Yeah. So, with your channel, why would we subscribe? Why should we subscribe to you?
And for you to subscribe to me, I mean, I guess it's your choice if you hit that red button and turn it into gray. But I would say I would subscribe to my channel if I was just looking for something to do and I was just on YouTube and I saw me scrolling and not in a conceited way or a boastful way ever. But I think I would just scroll because first of all, I'm seeing somebody who has a smile on their face and I might not be having a smile for me on my face at the time. And I'm just kind of wanting to be curious to see who that is over there laughing, who's that over there smiling, and who's that over there Speedy Gonzalez fingertips and loving the craft, loving what they do. It's amazing because you don't always see everybody love what they do. And I love that. And then I also will subscribe because I'm going to be able to see some good tutorials. I'm going to be able to ask for a tutorial and get that help. I'm going to be able to ask for certain things and be able to get assistance and ask any kind of question and not feel less than or inferior. I can ask that question. I can get that type of help. I can get that one-on-one. I can go to a live chat and get my actual comment read. I think would love to go subscribe to my channel just because I believe in people and I believe in the craft. I believe in learning. I don't feel like I'm too big to learn more. I love to be taught. I love to just mingle with others, and I think that's what it is. I've always been a person who loves to do that. So I think subscribing to my channel, you would become a family member. You'll be able to, gain a lot, and I would be able to gain a lot as well. Not only would you gain a lot from me, but it would be a blessing to gain a lot from others as well. I'm always big on that. I love to welcome people in, so it would just be a win-win ordeal. When it comes to me, I like to have something where you can get something out of a channel. I feel like when you subscribe, if you are not everyone's able to do so, but when you subscribe, I want you to be able to get something out of the deal. And if you aren't, you should be able to. Like I offer my email to many people. I offer different social media things to different people, and whatever service I can, I love to offer it to people so that way you can feel like, oh, I'm getting closer to this to the person who's running this channel, and I'm getting more information. I'm getting that help and that I'm trying to be a resource. So you're not just getting a channel or a button to click. I want to be a resource as well.
Can I add a word into that?
Yes.
You two are approachable. Sums it up brilliantly. So there you go. Now, you two, how do you find the time for YouTube? Juggling real life with YouTube, how do you find the time?
Well, still looking for it. If you find it, let me know. If you got a cup of it, I will borrow it. I probably won't leave it back, but I will borrow it. But I think for us right now, weekends are usually a time where we kind of like, the wigs are off, the slingshots are off, all those things are off, and it's just time to relax. We have different activities where we do as a family. We're really big on family. That's the biggest thing. Like our kids come first, like when it comes to just doing different things with them. But I think balancing it all comes with just doing things in moderation. Like throughout the day, before we even get on a live stream or we do any other things, it's us doing something with the family. I did not enjoy the COVID situation, which is going on right now, but I do like the fact that our children are home, and so we are able to do things like that with them before we are able to come live. So we're having that family time, and then we're going to work. And the fact that we do work late nights is really good because a lot of times our children are asleep. So we can work while they're sleeping, and then when they're up, if we get our rest, and then we're up with them, we're working while we're sleeping while they're working with their schoolwork. And then we're getting up, and then we're enjoying the day together, and then we're getting back to work and what we're doing. So we're learning how to balance those hours out, and it's really working pretty good so far. But yeah, that's it.
Let's keep fingers crossed that it lasts.
Yes. We know. Well, it just really depends on how you work it. I feel like that's how I am now. I used to just like, oh well, I would try to, no, it can't really happen without the work. If I slack off one day and say, oh, that's where it's going to start tumbling. So I got to remember to keep that schedule, keep it going, and whatever else, keep the work going. There's everything that I've gotten to this far, it had to come from work. Every time I feel like I had to slack off or I took a break, then I would have that work just twice as hard. So if you keep that consistent work mode, that work ethic, and like I said, if you got the support system, it'll help too. Because some days if you don't want to do it, or some days you can't do it, you'll find a support team to have your back, where they'll keep you going. So you'll be like, okay, everything's good.
Lovely. Now, with all your craft, or with the YouTube channel. You can choose which one. Well, it might even be both combined. Who knows? What was your biggest failure?
Okay, you said for my craft or for what else?
You can either choose just for your crochet, just for your YouTube channel, or if they both come together, do that.
Um, I think my biggest failure, I think it has to really do with more YouTube. I took YouTube as a video streaming platform or a video watching platform. I always use YouTube as like if I need to listen to a certain song or read the lyrics of something or learn how to do something, I always use YouTube for that. So when I
Mm-hmm.
came on the other side of things and I was the one behind the camera and the one that was creating content, I started something different and I learned a lot different. But videos versus live streams, I learned even more. So I think my biggest failure is when I came from just doing straight video, straight edited content into the live streaming world. And then also having my being a clergy, being a youth pastor, I took on to having this open, big heart. And I think my biggest failure is not always using my discernment. And when I say discernment, is basically your ability to connect spiritually with somebody and to actually basically read them and to know what spirit they're walking in. And I think my biggest failure is to just dive straight in on whoever I'm meeting without actually just getting a feel of them and letting them get a feel of me and
Mm-hmm.
being let down a lot. So I think that's what my biggest failure is. Maybe being too trusting. I don't know because I just love to trust people. I love to give people benefit of doubts. But I think it is basically being a little too trusting sometimes. I think that's what can be my biggest failure because I've noticed that's the only thing I have been unsuccessful in when it comes to being so trusting. And then waking up the next day, I'm on Fox News or CNN News the next day. I have no idea. I had no idea I was even on the news. I
I
just
want
get
to
on
see
reports.
that.
I'm all these reports. I'm on the news, and I'm like, okay, well, I think that could be it. I think, but I mean, I don't want to stop being trusting. I don't want to stop being open hearted to anyone. But I just have to now. I just have to realize it. Just slow it down. It's okay to slow it down. You know, everybody can't come to the table and come to the house and eat dinner every night. You know, give them a week or two before you start inviting them over to dinner. You know, so I'm learning. I'm learning.
Or we can just all invite ourselves like we normally do. So let's push that aside and go to the opposite end of that and say, well, what's your biggest success?
My biggest success is I don't want to start crying on here.
Come on, give us some tears. Show us some
I
emotion.
forgot, guys. If you do subscribe to my channel, you will be able to see a lot of tears. So please keep tissues, toilet papers, Kleenexes, whatever you guys call them. Keep them handy at all times because I am a cry baby. What my big success is
Come on, girl. Go on.
goodness.
I'd throw you a tissue, but it'd take a while to get there.
I know, and everybody's upstairs. They're hiding out from me, so I won't get any from my. But yeah, my biggest success I would say is being to meet so many people, and so many people say, "Oh, well, you do this for me," being an inspiration to me, and so many people are inspirations to me. So, I think my biggest success is meeting many people, and so many people changing my life. It's amazing that you will meet so many people, and I'm so glad for this whole situation where we all feel like we're locked in, but we're all finding outlets. Even though we're locked in, we're finding ways to get out
Mm-hmm.
virtually, to meet people, to chat, to learn about people's lives. Some people who are dealing with loss, some people who are dealing with not knowing what to do next, some people who are dealing with depression, some people who are just dealing with, I need a friend, I need somebody to talk to. And I think my biggest success is to meet so many people, to hear so many stories, to be somebody's confidant, and to be relatable to people, and for people to be relatable to me, and for me to have so many more family members. And it's amazing because we all have grown together. We've all been able to be a real family. Like some people say, "Oh, you do this for me," but many of you don't know what you guys do for me, like the talks, the laughs, the jokes, the creativity, like everybody's creating the videos, all those different things is really doing something for me. I think that's my biggest success is finding my niche, finding a home, finding a family, and definitely finding just a big support system. So I think that's like the really biggest thing ever to know that, hey, I got out here. I didn't have anybody. Like now, my biggest thing is, well, I'm not gonna go deep because I don't know how far we're going, but my biggest thing is when I started this thing, I didn't have that. So that's why I kind of evolved into what I'm doing now because I didn't have that. I was the one out here like in the blind. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know the tables I can go sit at. I had no idea. I was just sitting out here and just hoping that I could watch people. I had all the only people that was watching me was just everybody in my area, in my hometown. I didn't have any crafters that was watching me. So when it happened and people started noticing me, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. I don't want to go too far because I can.
That's fine. You've got your warm feeling. That's good.
Mhm.
Now, despite money, let's say money isn't an issue. For your craft, what is the one thing that despite expense, you'd just go and buy it? You'd grab it. One thing, you'd just go and grab it.
Hmm. Oh my goodness, I don't know. What was the thing, something I've been wanting to get? I think I would get a camera. That's what I want. I do. I've been wanting a camera for a long time, and a camera so that way I can film what I'm doing. Either it be a vlog situation from traveling or in yarn shops, or if I want to do a tutorial. I've been wanting a camera for a long time. That's one of my things. I've always basically kind of like put it aside just because I really, I kind of feel like, oh, I still got my phone. I really, like sometimes you can substitute things. You're like, okay, I can still, but in the back of my head, it's still that little camera that's
A
saying,
little niggle.
well, that's the only thing that I've been wanting, and I've been wanting this baby for some years now. But like I
Any
said,
particular one?
um,
Or you don't really care as long as it's a free camera that you can kind of move around?
yeah, I don't really have a preference. I just want to get a camera, just because I want to have something to be able to shoot on, different things. So that's what I'm probably one of these days I'm gonna be working to get one. I'm not really stressing over it, because I do like using my phone right now, where it's kind of convenient. I can shoot, I can record on there, upload from there. But I want to take it up a notch. I feel like going to the next level, and I want to have up my equipment as well. So yeah, I
Oh,
think
I
that's
hear
what I
you
want.
there, darling. I hear you there.
Yeah, at every level is good to kind of just. It's like watching one of your favorite episodes of a TV show. Every season they'll get a new intro. A lot of times they'll get a new. You'll see different things like, oh, this is a new season. They all got new haircuts. They're all, you'll see those different things. It's like, oh, okay. So that's what I really want to do. Going into this new season, I want to step it up a bit.
Lovely. Okay, so hear that, guys? She wants a new camera. Okay, so next, aside from YouTube, something that you don't put in your videos, aside from your crochet, what other interests do you have?
Wow. But I don't put in the videos. I don't put in my poetry in my videos, and I have
Oh,
been writing poetry for probably about 20 years, 21 years. I used to actually have poetry books and I would sell them in school. So
okay.
I don't really put a lot of my poetry. I've been on other channels where I did poetry, but I've never really shared my poetry with others. I don't really share a lot of my cosmetology too much on there as well. But those are some different things I really enjoy because I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I definitely love the hair. I love the makeup. But those are some things that's behind the scenes. I do a lot of that, um, and that's kind of like a lot of stuff I like to do. I like to do my poetry, of course. I like to write. Actually, working on a book. I'm
Oh,
getting close to being done. I've actually been having that time to kind of just write and fill up those pages. So yeah, that's going to be one of my first books of many. But yeah, so I guess it's basically my writing and my beauty style of things behind those are what I kind of like to do when I'm not crafting.
well done. It's nice that you didn't just go, there is nothing else. Everything goes on YouTube.
Um,
What what would force you to stop YouTube?
um, only thing that would stop me from YouTube if God told me to stop. I know my husband's behind me. I know my family's behind me. Only thing that will ever stop me if God was like, "This is not for you anymore. I have better things for you. different things for you, and I want you to be done. And that's the only thing that's going to stop me. I will never stop for anything else. Um, because I know even my husband knows my goals, and my family knows my goals, and so I have one of those families who know everything, anything that I want to do. They don't. It doesn't matter. They will still push me to keep going. Even if I can't do it as much, they're still going to say, "Keep going. This is something you want to do." And
Hmm.
I have that big of a support system. They know my hunger. They know my drive. They know my passion for things. So only thing that will ever stop me is God. God, if God says you're done, you're done. Because He gave me this. I didn't have any of this. I'm telling you, I was here, little old me, doing videos, and He brought everybody here. So if He says stop, if He says we're done, that's the
That's
only
it.
time I'm going to be done.
I think that's a good enough reason, Dana. I do. I'm going to go with what follows that is, would that be the same answer for crochet?
Yeah, that'd be the same answer for crochet as well because for some reason I thank God I haven't dealt with any carpal tunnel. I haven't dealt with any pains. I've never dealt with any type of soreness in my wrist or hand. And people always say, you're going to deal with that pretty soon. Just keep waiting. You'll have it. And I'm just like, okay, I hope not. But that's what's going to have to happen. God say, what, just take a break from all that. I need you to get more into your word. I need you to do more things here and there. That's what's going to happen. You're right.
It's a case of use it while you still can, Dana.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, how do you decide what to make next?
Um, A lot of times I decide what to make next is due to an order. A lot of times I just get people messaging me and say, hey, this is what I want. Or people will want me to do some testing, or I'll kind of get into the testing world and I'll be like requesting people like, can I test this? Or um, what's in as well. I like to do a lot of things that's what's in. I know a lot of people do not like to do what's in because like that's so much, but I still like to do what's in because um, people in my area, they don't always have a lot of crocheters. So even though I'm seeing stuff on the internet, I'm catching the people that's in my area on the new things that's in and that striking their interest as well. So things that are in like the current trends, testing patterns, and orders. Those are really what influenced me to what's going on next. And also challenges. You guys have been challenging me, Lord, Lord, Lord. You guys have been challenging me to
I'm
get things
still
done.
waiting for one of mine.
Yes, exactly. I had to film it. I got it already halfway. I mean, got it to the point where I can put it on. I just got to film it. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get some work done over the weekend, so that way I can do some filming. But yeah, I think that's what it is. Basically, my challenges, my orders, and what's in the trends and things like that. So yeah, that's
Well,
basically
we'll elaborate a little bit more on that in a few minutes, so bear with that one.
all right.
Um, when you're on YouTube, when you're on your other social medias, do you seek feedback from them, or do you only seek appraisal from within your close knit family?
I definitely just I seek any types of feedback from everyone that I encounter, because I always strive to be better. And I know I can't be better if I don't ask people what they would like to see or what how they want to view me. I always want to get that feedback because if I don't ask people, I will never know. If I get one like or one thumb up, or if I don't get a comment, eventually I'm going to ask, guys, I'm filming things, I'm shooting things, I'm having videos here. What can I do? And even if I don't ask in this necessarily whole broad audience, a lot of times I will ask people that I am influenced by, people um, that are have taught me a lot of things. I'll ask them questions like, what are ways I can get better? Or I'll take for me. I've always been this kid. I believe, the first time I ever went to a workshop, one of those webinars. Or actually, it wasn't a webinar; it was an actual indoor workshop. I was 13 years old, and I went to a workshop. I had no idea why I was going there, but I got one of those beautiful postcards in the mail, and it was like, "Go to this workshop. It'll help you be a better business person." I'm like, okay. It didn't have an age limit on it. It didn't, and I was like 13 years old. I went into this workshop, and they were like, "Oh, at the end of this workshop, you'll get a free package of this, and you'll get a CD to teach you how to do." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to stay here to get my free CD." And I would stay there the whole time and learn. I would write notes, and so I was always learning. So I think me wanting to grow, I want to always get feedback. I always want to learn because I never will know what people want to see if I don't ask for feedback, even if it's
Mhm.
critical. What is it called? The constructive criticism.
Yeah,
Sometimes I get it too. Even if it's that, I want to learn from it because I want people to know. Like I want to give people what they want. So feedback is always going to be important because you're doing it for somebody. And so if you're doing it for somebody and they're not seeing something they want to see, eventually they'll go to the next thing. So yes, feedback is big.
And there's also the little bit that's a pain in the backside for a lot of us of you cannot please all the people all the time.
Yes,
But boy,
exactly.
do we try, eh?
Yes, exactly. You definitely can't please everybody, but when you have the majority of people who are, you admire their opinion. You'll find those who you admire their opinion because they have a lot of wisdom and they're doing great in their. A lot of times if you see people doing great in their craft,
Hmm.
um, and they love to motivate and encourage others. If you admire their craft or you admire who they are, um, it's really good because you can really get that good feedback from them. But of course, like you said, you can't please everybody. And I definitely, that was something I had learned too.
We all learn the hard way, Dana.
Yes.
With all your little projects that you do, how do you prioritize your work?
I think I prioritize it if it's an order. I usually like to take those on first. But if they're smaller things, sometimes I'll grab a smaller thing and kind of get that out of the way first. A lot of times I can just whip up something quicker if it's smaller, or depending on where I'm going. Like if I'm traveling with something, or if I know I'm not going to be home, I know I can't do a video at that time. So that's going to be a time where I'll fit some crochet in, or if it's time where the kids are gone or they're all in their own room in their own world, I'll do some video. It'll be video time. So I kind of balance out my space depending on what I'm doing. Like sometimes I know it's video shooting time. Sometimes I know it's crochet time. So I know what time it's. Sometimes it's family time where we're just gonna chill. It's like, yep, definitely not getting any crochet done. You guys are just you won't get off my laps. Watching some TV. You guys got me in a headlock. My husband's looking at me like, yep, right there. It's time to chill. So it just depends on how everybody else's mood, my environment is going on. So if it's a busy time, we're finding ways to keep busy. But it's basically wherever I'm at and what time it is. I'm learning to fit everything in.
So when it comes to your crochet, um, how do you, no, not how do you, sorry, give an example of thinking outside of the box. When have you thought outside of the box?
When have I go outside of the box? Um, right now I've actually been thinking outside the box because for years I've been doing some mentoring, online mentoring,
Mm.
and I was just speaking to my husband about that. I said, "Honey, it's time to do something different." I've been doing some online mentoring with a couple other ministers, and so we were doing some mentoring for young teenage girls, and so many young teenage girls in my community have been dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues, abandonment issues, things of that sort. So a lot of different feelings, depression, sadness, loneliness. And so we've been mentoring a lot of these young girls and taking them on trips, doing fundraisers for them, different things of that sort. And so now I was just telling my husband, I said, we would do these different live streams on Facebook or different social media streams and platforms, and it was amazing and it was astonishing how less of um, help support we were getting. We weren't getting many people coming in, and we weren't getting people to bring their youth in. We were getting and when we started getting people coming in, it was a lot of adults. Even
Mhm.
adults who did have children, they were not bringing their children in to give us feedback on what we could be doing or what kind of activities they wanted to do in the community. Weren't getting that. And so when now I'm thinking outside the box, I'm like, you know what? What can be done is this YouTube channel. It can be used to be able to help these young girls. So if I want to do a mentoring day, we can change it up, and we can be filming on Facebook, and we can still keep the YouTube going as well, because people are going to want to see it, and it's going to be more people who's going to be able to be influenced. Because at first I was just like, oh well, we'll just keep it over here, but now I'm thinking outside the box because there's more people who need to hear this, and there's more people who want to be a part of this and want to see the mentoring side of what we have going on, and who want to be a support. So I feel like now outside the box is not just keeping it over here in this one small area where only this small many people can be involved, or only so many people can be part of it, or get these tips and different information, these tidbits and all these different things, because we're really doing homework when we do these mentoring sessions, it's really a true homework. We're really diving into certain subjects. We're getting really serious. It's not just a little sugar coating and light. No, we're dealing with some subjects that people don't want to talk about. We're dealing
Yeah.
with things that people are afraid to let go of, or things like that. So I think being able to bring it onto a wider scale and to help other people, even if they don't say anything, but if they're able to view it and if they're able to actually relate, and like, wow, really, you've been through that, or to be relatable to so many young girls out here, so many teens who don't know what to do next. I feel like that's me thinking out of the box. I think that's my next thing, to just really spread the word more. And don't just sit on it and just put it in one area, because sometimes when you sit on and put it on one area, you will miss out, and some people will miss out. And I never want to be that person who was supposed to be somewhere else and I never went there. Sometimes we're meant to be somewhere else, and we're like thinking in the back of our head, maybe I should be there, maybe I should try this, but no, I don't have enough time, or maybe I don't know how it's going to work out. Sometimes we're meant to be in a certain place. Sometimes we're meant to move, and if we sit still too long, we'll miss out, and we'll cause other people to miss out. And we don't want someone else to miss something because we never got to the place where we're supposed to be. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm at.
Lovely. See, I'm learning stuff about you. I thought I'd know everything that I was asking you, and I'm learning stuff myself. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Um, Now, a little bit earlier, you touched on research and trends. So, can you elaborate about your research and your trends? What is the main thing you do research, and how do you go about it?
For me, research is going to be late nights. Of course, I'm always up late night, but I love to research patterns. I love to research fashion. I'm big on, like, when I first started crocheting, I was a baby lady. I was the one who crocheted all the baby stuff. So now I'm really big on fashion items. I'm loving to wear all kind of clothing, and so I love to research fashion. And I do have a fashionista daughter who really helps me in that area, because she'll let me know what's in, what's available, all those good things like that. So when it comes to that, if I see someone creating fashion, my goal is to be a part of what they're doing. My goal is to say, hey, how do I get a part of what you're doing, and what can I do? Like, I love to ask people questions. Like, I've never been a person who was afraid to ask questions, and so I definitely, my research deals with asking people, how they get to their goals, or if I can do a collab with them, or if I can, is there a way I can be a part of what they're doing, or those are my ways of researching. Late nights, looking up patterns, looking up different stitches, writing things down, not just reading, not just watching, but writing things down so I can retain everything that I'm learning. Because we can watch and we can read all we want and we can ask all the questions, but we have to keep some type of note of it. Because I'm telling you, there's been times I poured out so much of me, information, tidbits, all kinds of stuff, my life story. I poured out to so many different people, and it fell on so many deaf ears. And so many people, I'm not saying you have to take every bit of advice, but so many people who are dealing with so many different things never picked up one piece of that advice, and end up living a life in cycles, because they never really picked up something to get them out of that cycle, to keep moving forward. So instead of them picking up some of it, they end up just dropping it, and now they're still doing that same exact cycle living. And so, me, I don't want to live in that cycle. I know what it's like to go on a cycle. I know what it's like to do that same thing over and over again, and never nothing ever changes. And that's called insanity, if you just keep doing that same thing over and over again and hope that something will change. So I learned, like, I need to write this down. I need to get all this done. So if I'm going over to this website and I see that they're steady making this and this is a big seller here, maybe I should try that. But I've also learned, if every lane is not for you, okay, now that's something we
Yeah.
have to learn. If every lane is not for you, don't go to every lane. Me, I'm an overthinker. And it used to be, like I said, it used to be a curse for me. I thought it was, because I'm like, I need to do this, I need to do that. But it works for me. I can do everything. I can do every single category of things, because that's where my mind goes. But everybody's not like that. I've seen very successful people who are just beanies only. All you get from me is a beanie. I'm going to do every stitch. I'm going to do different color pom poms. I'm going to do chunky. I'm going to be doing lightweight. I'm going to do worsted weight. I've seen people who are very extremely successful, and that's all they're making. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm saying that's their lane, and they're happy with that lane. So I
Yeah.
think finding your lane and doing that research on whatever lane you're doing is a big, big help, because I know that it can be stressful if you're trying to cover every single lane, and you're not supposed to be there. So researching, late nights, crafting, talking to other people who have those creative juices, keeping that going. because you cannot go around people who don't have those dreams or those ambitions, because your stuff will be studied. You'll stunt your dreams and your growth, because you're like, man, ever since I've been over here, the juices aren't flowing, the creativities is not coming, and I'm just like, man, they're not. Like, I mean, not, you can't depend on someone else to get you there, but a lot of times if you sit in a room of creatives, ideas are bouncing. You guys can throw things off of each other, and it just makes it work great. But if you're around people who are not really ambitious or goal, they don't set goals or anything, it can really stunt what you're trying to do. And a lot of times it's not a big help. So, like I said, the research, the getting around people who are creative, like-minded, the hard work, those are all lots of things. And remember to write those things down. Writing things down will help you so much, because I'm telling you, you never want to let all those good ideas and all those creative things just fall away, and then you forget. Because a lot of times we're like, oh, I can remember that. Sometimes we think we can, but sometimes we will forget. So write it down. Keep that journal full of all those good ideas. So that's what I like to do.
Lovely. So you've focused mainly on the fashions and the patterns, but
Yes.
does that also apply for materials that you use?
Oh yes, materials. I definitely love, like you said, the researching on materials, because I'm learning so much. I have so many mentors who have been teaching me about animal furs and animal um, different yarns and fibers, and I'm like, really, I had no idea. And so I'm learning a lot of different things, how they're supposed to be treated, how they're spun, how they're washed, how they're dried, all those different things. I'm learning a lot about them, and I'm learning what types of fibers go best with what types of fashion, or what types of clothing, and what feels best. And so I'm learning a lot of that, and so I definitely think material is really good to research, even when it comes to every craft. Even with you, Lady Bird, you've taught me so many different types of materials, and so many different things that you use. I'm just like in all, like, wow, really, like, you taught me so many different things that you can continue to purchase, to add to your business, to make things more personalized. And so I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for that personalized piece of, you know, piece of material, or equipment that will help me to get better. So I love that. I love to look at things. I'm just like, I'm an observer. So if I like something, I will. I'm a big fan of asking someone, how can I get that? Or how can what can I do? What would you suggest? Because I don't mind that. I don't mind asking for that help, or just admitting that I like what somebody does. So yeah, I'm researching on, like you said, the fashion, the patterns. I definitely love to research on equipment, yarns, what's good for this type of season. If it's colder out, what's in right now? If it's warmer out, what's in? And that's a big thing, researching, because there's so many different things that come out all the time, and reviewing it, because sometimes even if it's out doesn't mean you have to grab it. I've learned that as well. Like, oh, it's the newest thing out, but you grab it up, you don't get many sales on it, or a lot of people don't like the feel of it, or whatever. It doesn't look appealing, because sometimes you can get those different a pack of yarns, or different yarns. If you get a pack of yarn or a touch of alpaca yarn, and people are not familiar with it, they don't understand that these are animal. These that if they're amateurs to fibers, they will think these are pet hairs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're grabbing up and making a beautiful cowl and a beautiful beanie with alpaca yarn, or touch of alpaca yarn, people will say, "Oh, so you just let your pet sit on my work?" Like, no, no. So that's where, like you said, it doesn't really come to play, where you're letting people know, hey, these are animal furs. I hope you're not allergic. Please tell me allergic. Are you allergic? But yeah, researching is definitely good in all those areas. So yes, yes, yes.
I have to say, I've made many a beanie with beanie involved. Unfortunately.
Oh,
So I think that was a really, really good answer. So thank you for that.
yeah.
Um, have you, through your, whether you answer this for your crocheting or whether you answer for your YouTube, or both, again, if you wish, it's down to you. Have you ever completely just given up and said, that's it, I'm done, I'm finished, and you've stopped completely, but then come back to it at a later date?
No, I never have. I've spoken out of my mouth. I've spoken, I'm done out of my mouth. But again, that's when my support system comes in. That's again when you have that support system where you can say, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And your support system is like, no, you're going to do this. And that goes to my husband, that goes to my children, that goes to all of my family on my YouTube channel, all my family on every social media platform, on my Instagram. Um, I'm a vlogger as well, so I vlog different things. And I vlog like, I don't know what I'm going to do next or what should I do. And when you have those people who touched your lives and who lives you touched, and they're like, no, you can't stop, you can't give up. Um, and that's a big thing. That's why I said I love that. That's my biggest success, having people who actually are there for me, who love me, and who see what I want to do, and they know the same feelings I felt. Like like when I see somebody say the same things, like I'm ready to be done, I'm quitting. I don't mind stepping in and saying, let me help you, let me be a part of what you got going on, let me run this for you. And while you're taking a break, I don't want you to say you're stopping. I never want you to say you're quitting. I want you to say you're taking a break, because if you say that you're stopping, you're releasing it at your mouth, then that means it's going to be more things, obstacles that's going to come your way to block you, to make you actually stop. So never speak stop out of your mouth. Never speak quit out of your mouth, because it took a lot of people to get here. And a lot of times, like I said, when things get hard, somebody has already quit. So when you say, oh, this is getting hard, somebody's already been done. Somebody's already quit. Somebody's already tapped out. So remember to never quit, and remember to keep going. If it's something that you really want, don't stop, because it's a lot of work. You put a lot of work into where you are. Don't stop. Don't quit. And don't think that quitting is a sign of weakness. But that's why I always say, just take a break. I don't feel like quitting is a sign of weakness. But if some things can be overwhelming, take a break. I just don't agree with quitting, because if you work hard to get somewhere, I don't think you should quit. I don't think you should stop something that you want to do. I know what it's like when I was young to be and I feel like I was alone, to feel like I didn't have that support system. And so I know what it's like now to have it, and I just don't want to give up. I know there's people counting on me, and I just, I've gotten so far, and I just don't want to quit. I don't. I feel like if you've gone through so many different things, many of us have been through a lot of things. A lot of us might not tell everybody everything we've been through, but a lot of us have a story. And so we got somewhere, and now we're succeeding after all the storms, all the obstacles, all the tests, and all the trials. And I mean, of course, we'll still have some, but even if we're out of the rough part right now, this is the time to keep going. Even if it does look hard, even though it looks like things are rough, we got to keep going. I don't want to. So me stopping, I don't think I've ever stopped. Have I ever taken a break? A little, maybe a little bit of one, but not really much. If that, I just don't believe in stopping. I don't believe in quitting, because I can't. I was made to be a fighter. I was a fighter for years in the world, and now that I'm more tapped into my spiritual side, I'm still a fighter. But I'm a fighter because I know that it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get pulled back and pulled out of where you're supposed to be. So I don't believe in quitting, because it's just too much work that's involved in being who you are. So quitting is not an option for me.
Good girl. Right, we've got time for one more question to finish the hour off, and then Dana can breathe and get a drink and say, "Oh my Lord, we're done." So for your last question for this week, my dear, has the way you've worked, i.e., with your craft, with your crochet, how has the way you've worked changed from when you first began?
The way I worked, um, the way I worked from when I first started, I just was kind of like all over the place. I didn't really have an organized ordeal. I just was like, a little freestyling, whatever I wanted to do. I would just do this, I would do that. And now it's a lot more organized. Now I actually have a schedule. So I know it's like people have those Palm Pilots, or people have their organizers and things like that. I understand why. Because if you don't, you will like oversleep, or you will forget, or you'll double book. So I think now I'm just doing it, basically having my time slots for everything. Like, oh, yep, it's coffee time. Oh, yep, it's this time. Like I have it now, so I'm just basically knowing what time. And I'm learning that if it's past that, like I used to do, like, okay, if it's 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock is pick up your yarn, and or pick up a pen and paper and write down a pattern, or write down my ideas for the next upcoming week, or whatever it may be. If I pass that time up, or if that time has passed, now it's 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock is passed, I have to move on to the 5 o'clock slot. I can't be stuck in, like, I'll still be behind. So like I'm like, I have to come back to 4 o'clock. So let me go back to the five. So now I'm learning that, like, stay on task. And so that's been a big help, staying on task now, and creating a schedule, and just letting it work for me. And not letting me, like, not letting it be hard. A schedule is supposed to help you. And so now I'm learning that. I'm learning to kind of keep on task, get my schedule together, and there's no more freestyling. There's sometimes where I can kind of just play around and research. I used to have a scroll addiction, so I would just scroll. I think I just like this motion right here. I don't know if anybody else is just like doing this right here. So I did have an addiction to doing that, and it did take a lot of hours away. So now I don't do that as much. I actually had to ask a couple of friends that I value their opinions. I actually had to ask them, like, how do you deal with that? And they're like, oh, well, actually, I have a timer, 20 minutes of scrolling every few hours. And I was like, oh, sounds like a winner to me. So they're like, yeah, you'll do 20 minutes of scrolling, and then you'll get back to your project, and then you do that for about a few hours, and then you'll go back to your scrolling. So I was like, okay. And that, so far so good. It does work. So if anybody's looking for something,
whatever works for you.
so make sure you keep the timer on, guys. Okay.
Okay, thank you ever so much, Dana, for popping in. Your link is down below in the description. It has been popping up. Your Instagram and your channel have been going through the chat, along with quite a few people that have been saying hello to you. So there have been a few supporters in here. But all your details are in the description. They're in the chat for anybody that wants to see and for anybody that's coming in on the replay. With all fingers crossed, Miss Dana will give us a time for next Saturday to do her second part, and we will finish off the questions, which she's got a whole week to sweat about now that she knows what to expect. And all fingers crossed her internet will work. But she'll give us a time within the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for when I put up the live schedule. But thank you very, very much, Miss Dana, in our spotlight for Triple C and Joe Show. Please, guys, please go and check her out. If you're not already family, I'll be very surprised. But if you're not, please go and check her out, and Mr. Joe as well, who I think I deliberately said, Joe, it's nothing to do with you. We're sticking with Dana for this, because I know they'd be bantering throughout the entire lot and we wouldn't get any questions out. So please have a look out for the scheduled part 2 of this interview. Thank you very, very much, Dana, for being willing to pilot this and give a good kick up the butt for it. So thank you very much. I will end off now. So take care, everybody. Thank you very, very much for joining. Please go and subscribe to our Dana at Triple C and Joe Show. And also, if you're willing, give me a little click as well, if you're willing.
I want to say thank you as well, Lady Bird, because I didn't get to say thank you. Thank you for having me up. It definitely was a pleasure. And thank you for everybody who's came in to watch. And if we do have some new subscribers, thank you so much as well. I appreciate all that support. So thank you, Lady Bird. I appreciate you. And I thank you for being a part of our family as well. Thank you for all the help that you've given us. You are amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dana. Take care. Crochet away.